right, Caleb Stecker
Alex, you
coming
ready?
out of the blue
Caleb, you
corner.
ready?
He is taking on Alex Corrales. Coming in the red. It might be easier if I tell you Alex is the one in the shorts. Caleb is the one who just pulled guard. Ooh, what a fast pace. Alex has been with us for a meaningful period of time, but doing MMA. Is returning to the slammer, this time in submission underground. He's got good top control. Was talking with his coach, Aaron Wolf, earlier today. Aaron says, look, Alex is ready. Yes, he's been focusing a lot of MMA, but he loves grappling, and he's been getting ready in the room. Caleb looking for some rubber guard. Look at that flexibility. My goodness, his toes are almost touching his forehead. It's tough up against the fence. That fence can be used as a tag team partner. And a lot of that comes down to head position. You're looking at this position because Alex's head is higher. Alex is able to use the cage in his favor. Caleb can bring his hips back a little closer to the cage, get his shoulder blades on it, get his head higher. All of a sudden, you're going to see that fence known as the tag team partner working in Caleb's favor. Alex smothering very tight right here. Notice he's chest to chest. You're very safe. Options for submission might come down. Alex coming out the side. Got full side control. Notice his right knee. He's keeping that right knee in nice and tight. Now he's created a little space. That would actually give Caleb an opportunity to come back and retrieve guard there. Right there where Alex's right knee is. Right on the hip. It's going to make Caleb pinned there. Now he does what we call knee to belly, which is just like what it sounds. He put his knee on his belly. Who would have thought of that? A move called knee to belly where the knee goes onto the belly. Alex looking for the far side. He's looking to manipulate and isolate this arm, and it looks as though he's at least got underneath it to keep it tight, but he's going to have to get one hand to the left wrist of his opponent, Caleb Stecker. Now, Caleb elected this position. Just to remind you guys, Alex came across the ring, put some pressure on him. Caleb pulled guard. A game very similar to the master, Craig Jones. But you can see how important it is to keep somebody within your guard. Alex was able to pass. Alex now looking for this manipulation. Caleb gets his elbow up, finds a way out. Every time Caleb tries to gain a little ground, Alex will change his hips just enough to not let him in there. It's always a question I hear, is a cage a benefit? When you're in submission grappling, does the cage benefit the athlete who has MMA experience? I could only share my opinion with you, which is based on logic and perception, that it would sure make sense. They just spend more time in there. The apparatus can be very relevant. Okay, Alex looking to get bumped here. Caleb bumping around and around they go. Let's see if Caleb has recovered guard. You don't want to be in Caleb's guard for obvious reasons, but whenever you're dealing with a guy who's working traditional guard, or in Caleb's case, Caleb being a 10th planet athlete, that rubber guard becomes a real problem with the flexibility. How you counter it and how you deal with it becomes a real problem when you're in guard. So Caleb has advanced his own position as regulation starts to wind down to a minute. When you do talk about an MMA guy having a potential benefit in a cage, I think this position might answer the question in some ways, and you can see with Alex using his head. Not a headbutt by any means, but you can touch heads of your opponent as long as you place it there gently. You can then apply pressure. Alex coming back to this side. Now he's looking to come under the head. If he can come under the head, that's going to be very good for a hold. To advance to a submission catch style technique is going to be tough. Caleb Stecker doing a good job of staying tight. Keeping everything in. Caleb looking to get a little bump here. I'll tell you, as things start to wind down, Caleb goes round and round. Now, Caleb's head is higher. You'll start to see what I mean here, where Caleb can use the fence in his advantage if he can get his shoulder blades to the fence. This was a position on bottom. Michael Bisping, world champion, Hall of Famer. If he ever got on bottom, he would look to get to the fence, but he wouldn't leave his head, the top of his head there. He would start there, but then quickly get his neck and then ultimately his shoulder blades to it. Once he was sitting up and his shoulder blades were on the fence, he would use that to do what we call a wall walk. Right here.
Stop. Bring it up.
Corrales,
You guys go back to the
Caleb
corners.
Stecker are going to overtime.
You're blue. You're red.
And getting a text from Aaron Wolf, one of Alex's
You get to choose
coaches,
first, you
who
want
is
the back?
telling me this is what
Alex,
they
if you
prepared
face that
for.
way on your butt, he'll get behind you.
They did expect they would be in overtime.
One over, one under, and
They're
then you can have
familiar
whatever
with these
configuration you
positions.
want
It
with
looks
your
as though
hands,
Caleb has won the coin toss. He is elected to take back
You ready?
position. Referee Dave Hagen.
Fight!
Go. All right, guys, now you'll notice the time clock in the lower part of your screen here. Just to explain this to a new viewer, Caleb, who has taken this position, will be given up to 2 minutes to look for a finish ultimately, or to hold him for as many seconds on that 2 minutes as possible. The game for his opponent, Alex, is to see how quickly he can escape without being submitted. That time differential can come in should they exhaust these positions back and forth a total of 3 times. To compare it to baseball, you got the top of the inning, you got the bottom of the inning. Should they go all 3, they will turn to the timekeeper, and the winner will be awarded in escape time, obviously, whoever escaped in the least amount of time, collectively. That is why that clock is very important. Alex has 2 agendas here. First, to not be submitted, but second, he has to find a way to get himself free. And it's got to be done in that order. You can't be thinking about getting free while surrendering your neck. Protect that neck, then start to deal with the lower body. It's going to take a big movement. It's going to take a big burst here of energy for Alex. And there's that big burst. He might be caught here. One thing, if you ever go for that burst and you start to advance position, as Alex did in fairness, but then he stopped. If you get to a position that's 80% of where you want it to be, but it's not all the way, it's important that you go back and go back again. Alex went one time, one effort, then he stopped, which is giving Caleb a chance to at least float his hips back on top. Looks as though Caleb is going to be a little high to find the submission here. I would encourage Alex to continue to slide down and make one more big turn. Looks like time is going to expire. Alex
Alex, you get to choose.
will now move to the top of the inning
Face the camera again.
and have his chance.
Seatbelt
And
position,
back.
1 over, 1 under.
And guys, it's same. Everything you
Okay, you
just
ready?
saw is the exact same. Another 2 minutes, the exact same position. It's just the other athlete will be on offense and his opponent on defense. Caleb's doing a good defense. That's very good defense right there by Caleb. Now, a lot of this is just understanding the rules in conjunction with the strategies of the proposed overtime should you get
Let
here.
him get his hands. Ready?
Caleb coming in with a 10th Planet training is specifically what the 10th Planet guys work on each day in practice. So he really understood what to do with his hips there. Alex doing a perfect job of defending the rear naked choke. You'll see how Alex is sliding his body down. One thing that Caleb needs as the offensive man is for Alex's head to be just a little bit higher, closer to his head. The more that Alex can slide down, it just becomes a reach issue. How are you going to submit a neck that you can't hold and you can't let it go to adjust, because under these rules you've got to keep control of his lower body. Caleb Stecker doing a great job, by the way, with lower body control, using that body triangle. Alex trying to turn. Now this is the position where he turned, he didn't quite get what he wanted, then it's important that he turns back instantly and go to it again. Alex is doing such a good job of defending this from an MMA perspective. If you're dealing with an MMA coach, they're going to tell Alex, wow, great job, you defended that perfectly. Under this rule set, he's out. Under this rule set, it's important. The body triangle lock is so difficult to deal with. It's one of these positions where you work on it in the practice room, the coaches can show you the textbook correct answer for getting out of it, but you can do everything right and still not get out of it. It's just one of those positions that you could be stuck in a little bit. Now, Caleb Stecker looking to come around. All right, he changed the position enough. Referee Dave Hagen said, you've lost it. going to start over here.
Both ready? Go!
Caleb on the back. Alex Corrales on the bottom. Again, I'm watching Alex's defense here, and it is exactly what you would do. It is perfect for MMA. Now, MMA, you'd only have to protect yourself against the submission threat. You do not have to worry about the clock. That's where the game, that's where the strategy part of the unified rules start to come in. Alex is going to need a big effort here. He's starting to get out. Caleb surprisingly not following. Caleb must think he's still on top. He must think his hips are just going to come right out on top. It looks like he's right, and he is right. Caleb knew what he was feeling there. Notice how Caleb's staying behind the armpit. It's really a key. If you ever talk to somebody like, say, a Gordon Ryan or a Gary Tonin about back control, they will always emphasize where your hips go and that your arms are under your opponent's armpits. Alex, if he can get all the way down, if he can turn his whole body, his hips are starting to go, but he's going to need those shoulder blades. He can take his shoulder right there. Stop! That's a change of position. Referee agrees. Clock stops.
Last one. What's that? Okay.
Right, they are going to go to the third and final overtime set.
Are you ready?
Alex on top. Alex may need a submission at this point. Guys, I do not have a clock in front of me. I am watching the same thing you guys are without the help of a stopwatch. So I think we've all got to guess, but it certainly looks as though Alex is going to be up against it here. And Alex has something working. He has something very tight. Caleb's going around. Alex comes out on top. Caleb able to change the position. If you can change the position, that will count as an escape.
Nice work.
Do not think of wrestling standards, guys, where you have to get up and get free. My internal clock, though, I believe we are looking at the winner.
Winner! Do the quickest time escapes, Caleb Weber.
And Caleb Stecker, winner by escaping in the least amount of rounds. That's the way to kick off a show. We are getting